Hello. Ba't ganun? Full window. Full entire screen. Nakakaantok yung oras. Bilisan na lang natin. Kompleto na ba? Ang dami niyo pala. Okay. So our course, this hour is EDAT211 or Engineering Data and Analysis. And this is the statistics and probability. So, pag naririnig niyo yung statistics and probability, no? So ano ba yung ating naiisip? So, pag statistics, so this is the art of learning from data collection, its subsequent description, and its analysis, which often leads to drawing of conclusions. So, for examples, no, for examples, for example, yearly population survey, yung mga survey for unemployed and employed. So, those are the statistics or data collection na tinatawag. In the study of statistics, presentation, and interpretation of change outcomes that occur in a planted study of in scientific investigation. So, bakit ba natin kinukuha or tinitake yung statistics and probability, no? So, basically, on data collection, ang engineering, gumagamit tayo nito. So, this is the first thing we do on our projects, no? So, bago tayo nagde-design ng ating mga project, it's either a structure or ng road or ng kung ano man, we do an data collection or survey na tinatawag, di ba? So, upon surveying or yung pagkukuha ng data sa isang lugar, so that is statistics yung tinatawag natin dyan. So, data collection. So, that is a part of statistics and probability. Okay? So, statistician is often dealing with either numerical data representing counts and measurements or categorical data which can be classified according to some criteria. Observation, any recording of information, whether it be numerical or categorical. So ano yung kinukuha ng statistician sa yung mga data na nakokollect niya, that is the observation. Okay, so experiment, any process that generates a set of data. So for example, ang experiment natin is tossing a coin. So there are two possible outcomes, pwedeng head or tail. So that is an experiment. So halain mo yan, no? Naglalaro ka lang ng toss coin, nag-experiment ka na pala. And there are two possible outcomes. It's either head or a tail. So there are three types of statistical studies: designed experiments, observational studies, retrospective studies. So those are the three types of statistical studies. So the end result was a set of data that of course is subject to uncertainties. So the end or the results are subject to uncertainties because it has to be proven at kailangan ng mga additional experiments para ma-prove kung tama ba sila. So, as the set of all possible outcomes of a statistical experiment is called the sample space. Okay, so sa statistics, meron tayong tinatawag na sample space. So this is designated as S. So each outcome in sample space is called the element or a number of sample space or simply a point of a point or a sample point. The sample space S of possible outcomes when a coin is flipped may be written as S, or the sample space S with a possible outcome of HT. No? Ang kanyang possible outcome is HT. So, wherein yung H is for the head and T for tail. So, kapag nag-flip tayo ng coin, it's either head or tail. So, there are two possible outcomes. So, paano isusulat yan? S is equals to the outcomes of HT. So, those are the two possible outcomes. So, example number 1, an experiment tossing a die or dice. So, number 1, if we are interested in number that shows on the top, so pag sinabi nating dice class, di ba? So, dyan sa figure, meron siyang anim na faces, no? So, pag nag-toss tayo ng die, kahit saan or either of the faces na meron yung die, pwedeng mag-show dun sa ibabaw o pwede siya yung maging nasa ibabaw. So, sample space or sample space 1 or possible coin flip may be written as S1 is equals to quantity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, since there are 6 possible since there are 6 faces ng isang die, therefore, meron siyang 6 na possible outcome. So, either ang maglalabas sa ibabaw is yung isa lang, yung dot or 1, either 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, this is S sub 1 or possible outcome is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Number 2 naman, S sub 2. So, pwede rin na ang lalabas sa ating coins is either odd or even. So, if whether odd or even. So, what are the even numbers dun sa ating dice or sa die? 2, 4, 6. And also, meron ding 1, 3, and 5 for even. So, meron siyang dalawang possible outcome, even or odd. So, more than one sample space can be used to describe the outcomes of an experiment. So, sa isang experiment, hindi lang lagi S1. So, there are certain or various sample spaces or outcomes na pwedeng lumabas depende sa category. Diba? So, dyan sa number 1, ang category niya is yung mukha lang. So, number 2 naman or sa S sub 2, ang category niya is kung odd or even. So, if we know the outcomes or the outcome on S1, we will know the outcome on S and S sub 2. Kasi kunwari, sa S sub 1 or sa first flip or sa pag nag-flip tayo ng coin, ay ng die, sorry, nag-toss tayo ng die, kung lalabas 1, therefore, yung sample na lumabas is, ang outcome na lumabas is odd. Kung 2 or 3, 2 or 4 or 6 naman, even naman siya. Kung 1, 3, and 5 or 5, odd. So, 6 faces and odd or even. So, those are the sample spaces na pwedeng sa experiment tossing a die. Okay. So, we have what we call the tree diagram. So, para mas maintindihan, they generated a diagram, tree diagram. So, this is the list of elements of sample space systematically. So, for example number 2, experiment of flipping a coin. flipping it second time around, if it is a head occurs, and if a tail occurs on the first flip, then a die is tossed once. So, sa experiment number 1 daw, no? So, experiment number 1, mag-flip ng toy. O dun sa first outcome. So, the first outcome is either magkakaroon tayo ng head or magkakaroon tayo ng tail. So, that is the first outcome. So, flipping it at second time around if a head occurs. So, kung lalabas daw si head, ipi-flip natin again yung coin. So, magkakaroon tayo ng, once we flip the coin once again, magkakaroon na naman siya ng panibagong outcome, which is either a head or a tail. Gets? So, therefore, ito yung ating second outcome. Okay. So, going back naman, what if naman daw, tail yung lalabas? So, kung tail ang lalabas, we have to toss a dice. No? Magto-toss daw tayo ng dice. Okay. So, since tail ang lumabas dito, so magto-toss tayo ng dice. So, what are the possible nalalabas kapag nag-toss tayo ng dice? So, may either number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 yung lalabas, no? 1, yung outcome niya, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, those are the second outcome ng ating experiment. So, ano yung ating sample points? So, our sample points here, first outcome and second outcome, head, head. Head, tail. Tail, 1. Tail, 2. Tail, 3. Tail, 4. Tail, 5. And lastly, we have tail, 6. So those are the sample points of our experiment. So therefore, for the sample space S, the outcomes are HH, or yung kanyang mga sample points, HH, HT, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, and T6. Yung quantity pala. T6. So, kung bibilangin nyo, ilan yung kanyang sample points or some possible outcomes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, ayan yung possible outcomes based dyan sa ating experiment. Okay? Clear ba?
Yes po.
Yes po, ma'am.
Kaya ayoko sa bahay, naantok ako eh. Okay, next tayo. Sample ba yun? Number 2 na ba? O number 2 na? Number 3 pala. Okay. Pala. Bilisan natin. Number 3, yan. So example number 3. Suppose that that 3 items are selected at random from a manufacturing process. Each item is inspected and classified defective or non-defective. To list the elements of the sample space, providing the most information. Okay, so drawing natin. Gawa tayo ng tree diagram. Wait lang ah. Antok talaga ako. Bibilisan na lang natin class. Bawi na lang ako next meeting dito. May geology pa tayo mamaya. Okay. So this is the tree diagram of our experiment number 3. So pipili daw ng 3 item. Okay, and they will be classified if defective or non-defective. So these are the following or these are the possible outcomes na mangyari. So the first item, pwede siyang defective or non-defective. So that is the first item. And second item, so coming from our first item, so pwedeng defective or non-defective again siya, and defective or non-defective. That is our second item. And our third item, so pwede pa rin siyang maging defective or non-defective. Jopay. Okay. This is our third item. So therefore, yung 3 items daw na yan, so first, second, and third may be a combination of defective, and defective. So D, D, D. Defective, and non-defective. Defective, non-defective, and defective. Defective, non-defective, and non-defective. Next. So, tatapat ko pala para hindi kayo maguluhan. So, ito yan. Ito naman. So, it's pwede ring non-defective, defective, and defective. Non-defective, defective, and non-defective. Non-defective, non-defective, and defective. And also, non-defective, non-defective, and non-defective. So, those are the possible or the sample points. Ito yung ating mga sample points. So, for this experiment, the sample space is So, meron siyang mga possible outcomes na defective. Pwede daw na yung tatlong item na makukuha mo are all three defective. According to the, according dun sa order kung kailan mo siya kinuha. Kunwari, first item na kinuha mo is defective. Second item is defective. Third item is also defective. So, D, D, D. Next, D, D, D. First item is defective. Second item is defective, defective and non-defective. So on and so forth. So, ayan daw yung mga possible combinations ng number or ng item, either defective or non-defective, according to the order ng pagkuha mo. Diba? First, second, and third. So, therefore, ilan ang possible outcome na lalabas sa pagpili mo ng tatlong item. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, merong 8 sample points or 8 possible outcomes na lumabas or combination by order. First item, second item, and third item. Okay? So, that is experiment number 2. Okay po? Madali lang yan, ano? Wala naman yata bumabagsak dito sa statistics and probability. Kayang-kaya niyo yan. Next. Sample spaces with large or infinite number of samples or sample points are best described by statement or rule method. So, possible outcomes of an experiment are the set of cities in the population over 1 million. So, this is an experiment, possible, experiment siya, no? So, ano daw? So, X daw. X is the set, or S is the set of all X. Mali ito. S is the set of all X such that X is a city with a population over 1 million. So, ito yung tinatawag na rule method. Kapag marami na or marami na yung kailangan natin bilangin. So, we will write our sample space like this. So, S is the set of all X wherein X is a city with a population over 1 million. Yung vertical bar, that is read as such that, no? Such that. So, S is the set of all X such that X is a city with a population over 1 million. Another sample example. So, S is the set of all points X, Y on the boundary of the interior of a circle of radius 2, whose center at the origin. Greater than. So, ganyan lang siya magbasa. Ganyan ang ating rule method na tinatawag. So, isa-isahin natin yung ating mga rule method later, no? So, we also know, or we must know also the fundamental principles of counting. So, sa statistics and probability, so ito yung ating unang dapat malaman, no? Yung ating principles of counting. And this is commonly termed or called as the multiplication rule. So, counting sample point, one of the problems that the statistician must consider and attempt to evaluate is the element of chance associated with the occurrence of a certain events when the experiment is performed. So, kapag napakarami na ng sample points, napakahirap din naman bilangin. Kung isa-isahin, gagawa tayo ng tree diagram. That's why gumawa sila ng tinatawag na multiplication rule or counting principle. Okay, so for rule number 1, if an operation can be performed in n ways, and if each of these ways, a second operation can be performed in n ways, the two operations can be performed together in n1, n2 ways, or n sub 1 and n sub 2 ways. So, example, how many sample points are there in a sample space where a pair of dice is thrown? So, pag sinabing pair of dice, dalawa. So, this might be dice 1 and dice number 2. Kaya, N1, sa dice number 1, there are 6 faces na pwedeng mag-occur sa ibabaw. Kaya meron siyang 6 na ways, 6 ways. For dice number 2 naman, 6 ways, so same as our dice number 1. So therefore, n sub 1 multiplied by n sub 2 is equals to 36 possible ways. Okay? So that are those 36 possible ways na pwedeng lumabas. So pwedeng 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, di ba? Yung ganon. Kung magkagawa tayo ng dalawang dice. So, sa unang dice, pwedeng lumabas is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And also, sa pangalawang dice, pwede rin lumabas yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And sa pangalawang, kung lalabas yung number 2, pwede rin yung pangalawang die, ang lumabas is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ulit. So on and so forth. So first dice and second dice. So medyo complicated kung i-drawing natin, lalo na kung marami yung ating sample space na gagawin, no? Or sample yung arrangement na ating gagawin. Or ways. Gets ba? So parang kanina class, no? Yung ating example kanina na yung pagkuha ng item, no, pipili daw tayo ng 3 items. Either defective or non-defective. So for each item, so item number 1, pwedeng defective or non-defective, di 2. Item number 2 naman, defective or non-defective, pwede. So 2 ways din siya. And item number 3, or n sub 3, 2 ways, defective or non-defective, 1 and 2. Okay? So therefore, our n sub 1, n sub 2, n sub 3 is equals to 2 times 2 times 2. That's why we have 8 possible combination ng items na makukuha natin. Di ba? So 8. So kanina ilan yung nakuha natin, di ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, 8 possible outcomes. So, that is why gumawa ng multiplication rule or counting principle. Clear po? Nanig kayo Sige. Next. So, number 5. Actually, mabilis lang tayo mag-lecture ngayon. Okay, number 5. Example number 5. A developer of a new subdivision offers prospective home buyers a choice of Tudor, rustic, colonial, and traditional exterior. And the styling is in ranch, two-story, and split floor levels. So, meron daw isang developer, no, pag kunwari bahay. So, meron daw siyang apat na choices ng exterior finish. So, na inaalok sa mga buyer niya. So, there are four. Okay, this is Tudor to, no? Tudor, rustic, and colonial, and traditional. Yan daw yung mga finishes na inaalok niya. And with these four finishes, pwede niyang gawin na ranch or meron siyang choices. It's either ranch, two-story, or split level. So those are the options niya. Kung rustic, ganun pa rin. So ranch, two-story, ba't ba nag-iiba, anak? Wait lang ah. Two-story and split level. Kung colonial naman, pwede rin siyang ranch, two-story, and again, split level. For traditional, rustic, or ranch, two-story, and split level as well. So, bilangin natin 1, 2, or Tudor and ranch. Tudor, two-story. Tudor, split level. Rustic, ranch. Rustic, two-story. Rustic, split level. Colonial, ranch, two, um, colonial ranch, colonial two-story, and colonial split level. And lastly, pwede rin maging traditional ranch, traditional two-story, and traditional split level. So, bilangin natin yung kanyang possible outcomes. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so what if marami? So, there are 12 possible homes na pwedeng pagpilian ng buyer na inaalok ng developer. So, there are 12 possible homes. So, that's what we get from our tree diagram. But as we use yung ating tinatawag na multiplication rule, so ano ba yung kanyang mga choices? So ang first choice niya or ang kanyang option is to have traditional, rustic, colonial, and Tudor. So meron siyang 4 choices. That is our N1, choice number 1. And after that, our choice number 2 or N sub 2, it's either ranch, two-story, and split level. So 3. So therefore, N sub 1, N sub 2 is 4 multiplied by 3. So 12 possible homes ang pwedeng ibenta ni developer kay owner. or buyer. Okay? So, madali. Nagets ba, class?
Yes po.
Sige. So, mas madali talaga kapag multiplication rule na lang. So, by multiplication rule. Okay. Okay. So, example number 6 naman. There are 22 or a 22-member club needs to elect a chair and a treasurer. How many ways can these, at puro mali. So, can these two be elected? So, paano daw makakaboto ng dalawang officer out of 22 members, no? So, ano-ano yung mga possible choices? Kunwari, pwedeng si member 1 and ang combination na pwede niyang iboto is member 1 and member 2. Member 1 and member 3. Member 2 and so on and so forth. So, ganito yan. So, kunwari si member 1 ang boboto or we have yung ang number ng members natin are 1 to 22, no? So, 1 to 22. So, our n sub 1 is 22. Okay? So, yan ang ating n sub 1. So, from this n sub 1, so sa 22 members, pwedeng pumili dyan ng either treasurer or chair. Either treasurer or chair. Tama? Diba? 1 to 22. So, for our n sub 2, ano ang ating n sub 2? So, for example, the first to be elected is the chair. So, out of 22 members, one of that can be elected as the chair. So, for the chair, we have 22 candidates. So, 22 yung pwedeng manalo. Pwedeng, sa 22, pwedeng makakuha ng magiging chair. So, that is the first order or yung ating first to be elected. So, after that, kung may nanalo ng chair, ilan na lang ang pwedeng maging treasurer? Ilan na lang ang pwedeng maging treasurer? Yes? Sabi ni Daniel, 21. So, tama naman. Kasi kung nanalo si number 1, ibig sabihin, ang pwedeng manalo na lang is number 2 to 22. Kaya 21. Nakuha? So, therefore, how many ways can these two be elected? So, pwede natin sabihin this is, or we say that N1 multiplied by N2 is 22 multiplied by 21. So, how many possible ways can these two be elected? So, 462. Kahit mamaya, isa-isahin nyo. So, definitely, at saka, kunwari, kung si 1 ang boboto, sino ang iboboto niya, di ba? Pwede niyang iboto is 2 to 22, 2 to 22. So, ganun siya. Okay. So, N1, N sub 2 is, ito yung sagot sa number. Ibig sabihin, 22, yung second for treasurer, 21 na lang yung magiging choices. Kaya n sub 2 is 21. Therefore, n sub 1 multiplied by n sub 2 is 462 ways. Okay? Lumamig na naman yung kape ko. Okay. Next. Okay, rule number 2. If an operation can be performed in n1 ways, and if for each of these, a second operation can be performed, and for each of the first two, a third operation can be performed, and n3 ways, and so forth. So, walang limit kung ilang ways pwedeng or ilang sample points yung ating gagawin, no? Or ilang operations yung pwede nating gawin. So, wala naman siyang limit. Okay. So, example number 7. Sam is going to assemble a computer by himself. He has a choice of chips from 2 brands, a hard drive from 4, a memory from 4, and an accessory bundle from 5 local stores. How many different ways can Sam order the parts? Okay. So, for N sub 1, pwede raw siyang bumili ng merong available na choice niya is or dalawang brand ng chips. So, merong dalawang brand ng chips. So, meron siyang 2 choices. And after that, nung nakapili na siya ng chips or N sub 2, pipili naman siya ng hard drive. So, ang hard drive naman ang kailangan niya is merong 4 na choices. So, N sub 2 is 4. And the third is N sub 3. So, yung memory naman or yung memory card yung bibilhin niya. So, ang memory dapat, meron siyang 4 na choices for the memory. And lastly, yung accessory bundle na kinikater ng 5 local stores. So, from 5 local stores, meron silang mga bundle na ino-offer. So, that is our N sub 4. So, therefore, how many different ways can Sam order the parts? Okay, so, mag-assemble ka ng computer, kaya ganito, kadami yung magiging choices and combinations mo kung kani-kanino ka pa bibili. So, 2 times 4 times 4 times 5. So, how many ways para maka-order si Sam ng accessories or ng mga gamit niya or ng mga parts para mabuo niya yung computer niya? Ilang ways daw? 160. So, there are 160 ways. No? Iisa-isahin niya ba yan? Tingin mo. Kung ikaw si Sammy, isa-isahin mo ba yan para lang makabuo ka ng computer, no? So, N1, N2, N3, and N4. So, those are the number of ways na gagawin ni or na pwedeng gawin ni Sam para makabuo ng isang computer. So that is the number or multiplication rule. Okay. Okay na class. Last na tayo, no? Next week na lang tayo bawi. Kasi ang akala ko talaga online tayo ngayon, face to face. Kaya hindi ako nakagawa ng PowerPoint. Kaya tinamad na. Hindi, ang dami kong ginawa kay. Kasi gabi na actually talaga nag-message si Sir Macariola about the schedule nga. Yung wala na ngang mirroring na tinatawag. So, lahat ng papel ng ko, nasa papel. Hindi ako nakagawa ng PowerPoint. So, bawi na lang next week. Okay, the last example for counting principle. How many even 4-digit numbers can be formed from a digits So, a digits 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9. Each digits can only be used once. So, how many 4-digit numbers daw? Yung pwede nating mabuo gamit yan. So, ito yung ating mga digit. Digit number 1, first, or rather, pag 4-digit number, ano yung mga positions ng, or yung thousands, di ba? Thousands, hundreds, tenths, and ones, di ba? So, pag ganyan ang 4-digit number. So, meron siya ditong condition. So, the first condition niya is that the 4-digit numbers can be formed or the 4-digit number should be even. Even. So, pag sinabing even, so ito yung ating mga numbers, 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9. So, how many even numbers do you think meron dyan? Ilan? Ilan ang even number dyan sa mga digits? Ito yung mga digits na pinagpipilian natin. So, 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9. So, merong 3. So, kung even ang pag-uusapan natin, 3 yung digits. So, ano ba yon? 0, 2, and 6. Para maging even yung ating number. So, for ones, dun sa likod, sa digit, ano ba? Sa ones place, no? Sa ones place ng ating number. So, meron tatlong options or possible answers. So, pwedeng 0, 2, and 6. So, ayan yung ating pwedeng pagpilian dyan. Okay? So, it's either yung lalabas is ending sa 0, ending sa 2, or ending sa 6. So, meron siyang tatlong choices. Okay. Okay. So, again, ano pa yung sinabi dito? So, for a 4-digit number, so dito sa thousands, for a 4-digit number, so kung 4-digit number, ibig sabihin, yung 0, hindi siya pwedeng gamitin. 'Di ba? So, hindi siya pwedeng mapunta sa 0, sa 0 place. Sa 0 place. Okay? So, kunwari, kung ang digit na lalabas dito is either, ang pwede mo lang maging option is 0 or hindi 0. So, pwedeng 0 or hindi 0 dito sa 1,000. kung lalabas is 0, hindi siya pwede. Therefore, ang choice mo lang for this 1,000 is 1 or yung number na hindi 0. 0 or non-zero. Okay? So, ayan yung choices dito sa number 1 or n sub 1. So, therefore, kung 0 ang lalabas, hindi mo siya pwedeng gamitin, kaya isa lang yung pwede mong gamitin, yung non-zero. Kaya ang n sub 1 natin, 4,000 is 1, which is ibig sabihin, non-zero, hindi 0. Pwede siyang maging 1, 2, 5, 6, or 9. 1, 2, 5, 6, or 9. Gets? Okay na po? Okay. So, I think naintindihan naman. So, that is for our n sub 1. For n sub 2 naman, since ang digit natin hindi pwedeng ulit-ulitin, looking dito sa 6 na digit na to, okay. So, for the 1,000, kunwari, or for example, yung lumabas or nagamit na nating number is 1. Therefore, ilang numbers na lang yung pwede natin gamitin sa 100 places. Diba? Kunwari, 1 yung lumabas dito sa thousands. So, ibig sabihin, ilan na lang or nabawasan na ng isa yung choices natin. Therefore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, 5 numbers na lang yung pwede nating piliin for choices number or pwedeng ilagay sa column ng hundreds. And for tens naman, since nakaisa na tayo sa thousands, and then meron tayong 5 choices sa hundreds, and nakapili na tayo ng isa doon, therefore, 4 na lang yung choices natin para sa tens. And for the ones, ito nga yung 3 choices natin na pwedeng kalabasan, which is 2, 6, and 0. So, 3. So, our n sub 1, n sub 2, n sub 3, and n sub 4 is 1 times 5 times 4 and times 3. So therefore, there are 60 possible ways or possible 4-digit numbers, even numbers. Okay? So, zero in the beginning or the 0 in the first digit, 0 cannot be placed on the first digit. Cannot be on the thousands. So yan yung ating choices. I mean, possible ways. So there's still another we can do, or meron pa tayong isang sample para dyan. So S sub 2 natin here is, what if yung 0 is i-consider natin siya na number, or i-consider natin na pwede siyang isama sa thousands. So for thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. So again, 4-digit and even siya. So sa ones, 3 pa rin yung choices natin. Kasi even pa rin yung pinag-uusapan natin. So dito lang sa ating thousands. So sa 1,000 place natin, So, 0 or 1 or 0 or non-zero, pwede siyang i-consider. So, kahit 0 yung, ibig sabihin, bibilangin natin yung 4-digit number na 0 yung umpisa. So, pwedeng 0 or non-zero. So, therefore, meron tayong 2 choices for our thousands. Pwedeng 0 or non-zero. Okay? So, pwede, for example, kung ang thousands sa thousands natin, dalawa yung choices natin, therefore, ang magiging choice na lang natin sa ating hundreds is 4. And also, these 4 can be also choices for our tenths. So, ang ating S sub 2 is N, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4 is 2 times 4 times 4 times 3. Or 96 possible 4 digits, 4-digit even numbers. 0 can be placed on the thousand. Okay? So, how many or ilang 4-digit total na pwede nating magawa? So, the total is S sub 1 plus S sub 2. So, we have 60 plus 96 is 156 possible answer. So, that is our rule number 2. Okay? So, mag-sample tayo next meeting more. And mapapadali naman yan as we go along with our topics. Mapapadali yan kapag permutation, no, madidevelop. So, frequently, we are interested in a small space that contains as elements all possible orders or arrangement of a group or of a group of objects. So, maraming mga arrangement, possible orders na pwedeng magawa sa isang maliit na space or sample space. Katulad niyan, di ba? So, there are only 6 digits na pinag-uusapan, pero there are 156 possible answers na pwedeng lumabas as per the given condition. Okay? So, yung tinatawag nating arrangement is what we call the permutation. So, which we will discuss next meeting na class, okay? Okay lang ba?
Okay lang, ma'am. Okay lang.
Okay lang, no? Kasi meron pa tayo mamaya eh. Antok talaga to. Naantok ako. Naantok ako sa ano. Sige. Ayan ko na sa slide. And I will be checking your attendance. Kasi hindi naman. Kasi nga ba? Hindi tumalab yung kape sa akin, in fairness. Asibeda.
Ma'am, present po.
Adalia.
Present po, ma'am.
Africa.